was a time in America when kids were simply kids. We didn't need sex education, carry guns in violation of all the rules.
Grace Ferranti, Caring About People. I'm here today with some dear, dear friends, Aubrey Padmore, which you've met before from Barbados, and two fantastic, fantastic people who make movies in Barbados, okay?
Yeah.
They bring information and try to make something and pass it along to us here in Staten Island and across New York. I wanted Dave Weeks and his lovely wife, Marcia.
Marcia, yes.
Marcia.
Yes.
Okay. Dave is the executive producer of the movie, and his wife writes, directs, does the dishes, and whatever,
And everything.
everything else. All right, and it's called step-by-step production,
Yes.
and they're hush movies. The word hush. There's a series 1 and a series 2. Tell us a little bit about the film, and then we're going to come and talk a little bit about you.
Yeah. Well, the Hush series, Hush 1, gives a story of a young 15-year-old girl, Barbadian girl, who is getting ready to do her final exams, but got into some trouble. She's looking for love in all the wrong places. Met upon a boy, Troy, who is a university student. She gets pregnant. And in our culture, that's a big thing. What's going to happen? Will she be able to finish school? You know, and so is she going to keep the baby? If she keeps the baby, it becomes even more complicated, you know. But she's from a religious background. What's she going to do? You know, she's put you know, in a tough position. In Hush 2, the story continues. And here she's pregnant with this, you know, and she's expelled from school, etc. And she meets her father that she's meeting for the first time. And he comes in her life and promises her the world. She realizes she has a half-sister. And the story for Mikisha begins to unfold. And she, we don't want to talk about too much of it, but
No.
her experience in Hush 3, it's a lot of abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse of not just her, but of her sister. And we explore those issues in the film because we have a lot of those things happening in the Caribbean. And sometimes we don't like to talk about it, so we call it Hush. The movie is
Right.
called Hush because it's all those issues that we don't really want to deal with, to face. Sexual abuse, incest, you know, teenage pregnancy, abortion. Those are some hush-hush topics.
Dave, give me a little background of when you became the executive producer of this film. How did you arrive at it? How did you get to
Okay. We have been working in Barbados with young people for quite some time. We run a dance school called Praise Academy of Dance. And in that school, we get to interact quite a bit with young people, teenagers, from age 3 and up. And in the process of doing that, we create opportunities for them. So opportunities were coming in area of dance, and then we moved into theater, into acting on stage. So we were finding that our young people were very talented, very gifted, and much to our surprise, you know, they were multifaceted, and we were very surprised and very pleased. So then the opportunity came to produce a short movie. So that's where I kicked in, because you know you need funding, you need resources, you need the talent. So that's where I stepped in and helped Marcia, because she's the creative brain. But then you need someone to put the things together and make it happen. So I stepped in and assisted her, and landed up on that title of executive producer.
working with teenagers and working with children and working stuff like that? You knew that there was a problem even before, I'm sure.
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
I'm concerned, and what I want to hear now is a little bit of where Barbados or the Caribbean, let's not even stick on Barbados, you just happen to come from Barbados,
Yeah,
okay?
Caribbean.
The Caribbean frame of mind about incest, about child abuse, and is it an awakening? Are they finally dealing with it? Or do they still need a lot more education?
I think that we still need a lot more education. I think generally in the Caribbean, we find that those kinds of topics, we are very, very quiet about it. As I said before, it's really a hush-hush thing. We try to protect our families and to just be really, really quiet about it. With the film, we're finding, specifically in Barbados, there's more reporting in the last year or so. We're seeing a lot of reporting in the newspaper. Not that these things weren't happening before, but because of the film, it gives like a legitimacy. People feel that they now have a voice.
Right.
And so there are lots of things, dreadful things with children and so on, that sometimes it's hard to even read what's there. But so we're seeing a lot coming to the forefront. We're seeing it happening in Antigua, in Jamaica as well. We're hearing reports from counselors in these different countries that that people are now speaking up a little bit more than they used to do. And our tagline for especially Hush to film is Hush to End the Silence. And it's that silence that we're seeing that's killing a lot of us, because we're seeing the fruit of the behavior later in life because we haven't dealt with the root of the problem. We're seeing our teenagers who are becoming very promiscuous, and we're all kinds of different things dropping out of school. And so we're saying, stop doing that, pointing at the things that they're doing, at the fruit. But we have found, after doing this film, that there is a root, and a lot of times it's connected to sexual abuse.
Right. Self-esteem,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
is a major component, okay? Do you see self-esteem avenues being encouraged into the educational market, or you don't see it now? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, what I'd say is that, the average Caribbean child is not, it's difficult sometimes. So they're very talented, but hard to get them to get on the stage
Produce.
and do something.
Use it.
We were at a workshop here in the States just 2 days ago in New York, and we were teaching dance and other things, and the kids are just up on the stage and they're ready to go. Our Caribbean kids are just as talented, but not so quick because of those, how they see themselves.
Yes.
And so it's our hope that we would have some more programs, or even, I think it starts from in the home really, where we begin to empower children and let them feel like the sky's the limit. There's nothing you can't do,
Right.
And to feel really good about themselves. So I think that is something that we could get some more of that in the curriculum, and a more encouragement. I think our teachers are trying, but that we could do some more in that regard.
The male figure in the Caribbean, okay, again, I mean all the islands, okay,
Right.
the male figure in the Caribbean, do you think is ready and willing to see women break the glass ceiling, as you put it? I mean, here's a woman who is a film producer. Okay?
Yes.
In the early 30s and 40s, I would have never seen you know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the awakening is coming across the Caribbean?
Yes. That's happening in the Caribbean right now, where females are actually stepping up and coming to the forefront. Actually, in Barbados, you could say that there is a small crisis where the females are pretty much stepping ahead of the men, and there have been efforts to encourage the men to get out there and to get their education and to go ahead and to do what they know they can do.
Right.
So yes, that is the case in the Caribbean, where women are stepping ahead, are going ahead, are doing what they have to do, and the men are being encouraged not to be left behind.
Okay. A few years ago, okay, you met your wife. Okay.
Few years, yes.
20 to be exact.
And I was told that you were in the States. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Want to tell us a little bit about your stateside?
Yes, no problem. We came to the U.S. in 1991. I had this dream of studying in the U.S. I always wanted to further my education. I had been to UE, University of the West Indies in Barbados, at K-Phil campus, where I got my bachelor's, and I wanted to go further. So I had applied to stick to colleges and universities in the U.S., and I got accepted in 1991. And we also got married in 1991. So we got married, and we traveled to the U.S. like 3 days after?
Yeah.
A few days
Yeah,
after.
a few days after.
Right. So I studied at St. John's University, where I obtained my,
Beautiful campus.
yes, very nice, my MBA in information technology. And Marcia, she studied at York College, where she got her bachelor's in accounting. Right.
Mr. Padmore, or you know Aubrey. Aubrey's been with us for like, whenever once in a while he runs in and he runs out and to see what we're doing. Aubrey, tell us what's happening in the Caribbean and give us an update of what's happening at least.
I mean, there's a lot happening, but what I wanted to note is that the new president for the Caribbean Association at St. John's University is Barbadian.
Really?
Jessica Giddens, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And
interesting.
a funny thing happened. She was listening to our Saturday show, and she sent an email asking for help with the programs that they're doing, so we're going to be working with them.
Wonderful.
The Caribbean is really going crazy. Okay. You have a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities going on. People are really reaching out. I call it floating the Caribbean to the world, where the folks in fashion, media, other types of businesses, jewelry making, and these types of efforts are being pushed out of the Caribbean. Filmmaking is big. I mean, you know, we did Dominion in Barbados.
You want to give us a little update on what's happening?
Rodney's on the ground right now scouting and building relationships with other partners. Hopefully we'll all get together and we're going to shoot the full feature film for Dominion. 60% of it is going to be in Barbados, and the rest we're going to do between New York and Toronto. And we are passionate about the talent we found on the ground. Yes. And this is one of the reasons when I came down and I interviewed you guys.
Yes, yes.
And everybody loved that interview. I don't know why. I think they did a lousy job. But I got a lot of kudos from people that said, wow, that was a really great interview. And the talent there is just so natural.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And it's like ingrained, because what happened is when we came into the island, we had a couple of days to just do a casting call. And we got blown away by the casting call. But talk about talent morphing in front of the camera. When we saw the final product, I was like, are these really Barbadians? And I'm like, wow.
That's been our experience too.
It's so powerful. Now, what's even more interesting is that one of the lead characters for the Dominion series, Electra, is also the same young lady that is in Your Hush too, who plays the part of the young lady who was abused.
Oh.
Okay.
And I think she has a single that she's coming out with, music and everything. Okay. But just the whole maturity of the mindset related to integrating social media into filmmaking, into business, and all of these pieces is something that's great and wonderful. And it's good that now you're taking the Caribbean out of the Caribbean and bring it into New York.
Yes.
And really elsewhere it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You want to give everybody up there an update of what we're doing with caring about people and what our projected goals will be coming up? Just the overall goals.
You sure we want to tell everybody what we're doing?
Yes, because I think it's...
Caring about people has been around for 20 years. And we're the first not-for-profit 501c3 corporation in New York that actually participates in doing training for young people, the disabled. We target markets that historically have never been really looked at closely. But it is great that this time now people are really looking at these markets. The disabled are no longer disabled, they're enabled, and really doing some fabulous things. Yeah. And the training and development programs was a vision of yours for 20 years. So what's happening now is something that you thought of in terms of a dynamic 20 years ago. So what we're doing is looking to have the fully state-of-the-art studio where we will do more training, more development. We're looking for global relationships, which is a good thing.
That's the key.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the key.
And integrating media to really push the things. One of the biggest things that we want to do is the training to really bring forth the fruits for people who are living lives of quiet desperation. You know, we've had cutbacks with the economy, people don't have jobs and this type of thing, so we feel that the training and development will help them to really become the type of entrepreneurs that they need to be.
Tell me a little bit about the entrepreneurship, if there is any, in Barbados that you think that young women can enter, because it's a separate market than male. Because I know the males, they're entrenched and they know what can go on to on. Okay. Do you think there are any new avenues for?
Well, I mean, in Barbados we have a lot of female entrepreneurs.
Okay.
That's the truth, because they are the ones who are seeking the educational opportunities. Or men, we have to be encouraging them. to complete school, and not just complete but to do well. And so our women are actually they're right there,
They're up
and
in
so
there.
there's nothing really that is off limits for them.
Good.
And so that's a big thing in Barbados.
Yeah.
When you go there, women are doing everything. Anything that a man is doing, they're very much present there.
Have you seen a downturn or an upturn in the travel market, in the tourism? Have you seen any of that?
In tourism, I think, we had some issues when there was a big recession here. But I think we're seeing everything is back on
It's
track
coming
at the
back.
end of the day,
It's
Great.
it's coming back. The cruise industry, they're picking back up. And one thing about the Barbados Tourism Authority, they have a very active vision for tourism, and they market the island well. So I think based on that strategy, we've done pretty well given the economy.
Well, I'm just going to give a shout out. Aubrey knows I always do whenever I can. Okay, that there needs to be more accommodation for the disabled or the slower paced traveler. That's
Yes,
the one
yes,
I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay, the slower paced travel. She can't jump on the bus, get off the bus, and run. You can't do that. right?
Yes.
So I think they need to start. It's a new market. It's an open market. If they do think of disability travel and they do think that they can accommodate that, as an entrepreneurs, they can maybe pick up some of that market
Yes,
dollars.
right.
So that's just for me.
Yeah,
to
that'd be
them.
good.
Yeah, there was an article actually in the paper that said the disabled travel is over $1 billion in revenue that's gone missing
Okay.
because that market is really not being targeted effectively in certain areas. And like you were saying to me, you get the whole family to go down. You give grandma a free room. I
Yeah.
think you just wanted to get a free room.
Give grandma a free room and the others will follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll definitely, they're not going to let her go down.
By herself.
That's smart. That's
Grandma's
smart.
going.
Everybody come
We're
down
all
to
going.
Barbados. Grandma comes down, and everything's taken care of for grandma, and the whole family comes to Barbados.
Family comes to take care of grandma.
Good.
Tell us about the film festival. I want to really get that in there.
Yes, well, we've created a film festival in Barbados, which is called the Caribbean Youth Film Festival, and we're encouraging young people to create films, and through the wonderful work of the Olympus Cinemas, John Morgan, who owns it, he's given us some free time in the cinema to showcase these films. And what we've been preparing for it all year. Every Friday we have a training session at our school, Praise Academy. And we've created films, so we have about 5 films that's going to be showcased at the film festival. That's only from our school. And then
Right.
there are people from Trinidad and from Jamaica, from Guyana, and from different
So
places.
it's a Caribbean film.
It's a
festival.
Caribbean, and it's a youth film festival, and we will be showcasing these films, and we're hoping that some of them will be able to be shown on your program.
Love to be.
You
Send
know,
them up
and
we'll
some of the
send-
winners can
Thank
come
you.
up and be trained.
Thank you.
But it is something, because what we're trying to do is to develop an industry in the Caribbean. Film industry. There are lots of young people who might not be very good with book and pencil and paper and the academics part of things, but they will be able to be great with a camera, and writing
Editing,
stories and
yeah,
editing.
yeah.
There's so much behind too.
Yes.
There's gaffers.
Yes.
Okay, you know
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
There's costuming. There's
Oh,
so
So
much.
much.
makeup.
So many.
whole industry.
So we want to open that up to our Caribbean young people and say, listen, you could do something, and you could make some money from it.
Yeah.
And we want to, even before they get, right now in Barbados, at the university level, you can study film. But we want to get them from their 13, 14.
And they get tasted.
Yes, a taste of it.
Because everyone
you
will
get a
not
taste,
go to
yeah.
university. Everyone will not get the opportunity to go to university, but they have talent. We've seen it. We've seen it for ourselves.
But
So
if you start them early enough, which you were
Early.
talking about, okay, then they're going to say, there's more.
Yes.
and they're
There's
going to want
more
more.
than
And-
is,
and you know
It gives
what?
them purpose.
Yeah, and they'll be
Early.
more prepared when they get to university.
Yes.
Everything will be so new to them. And so
Well, it's very frightening to go to university if you've never been, or
Yeah.
if your mother and father have never gone. It's
Yeah.
like, where are they sending you?
Yeah.
It's very frightening.
Yes,
so.
it
Yes.
is. It can be. It can be. Yeah.
Aubrey,
Mhm.
what do you think about the fact that maybe we can get some of their stuff to come up, all right? And maybe we can have maybe a small Caribbean festival hear from what they have there. Maybe we can
Oh,
put something
that would be
on,
awesome.
like in
I
a
think-
series
I-
form.
I think we should because Staten Island has a growing Caribbean community. We've got like 3 restaurants here now, and I see some more. Every time I pop up and I peep over and go, I see Caribbean.
Yes,
this.
so
I
we're
think- I think-
everywhere.
yeah, I think people,
Expanding.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
people would really love to have that experience to really see what's going on.
Is this the almost the end of your subject in the point of this? In other words, our police commissioner and our speaker,
Mhm.
okay, Quinn.
Quinn, yeah.
This is a major issue, okay, and we'd like to make a copy and send it over to him. So if you can give me that
Oh,
permission,
yes,
I
we
would.
would love
I don't want to
to.
do it unless you.
Yeah, we would
okay.
love to. Anything to promote the message that, sexual abuse and bring awareness, we're very open to that.
What's
It's
the
all about
next
caring.
message you think you would be looking at?
We're going to look at, in the Caribbean, the issue of race and not just black and white, but we're also looking at shades of brown and the whole bleaching thing.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So because there is this, you talk about self-esteem earlier, and
Right.
even among our little children, the different shades of brown that we have to deal with because we have as a standard white as a standard. And so the closer I can get to you, the better I believe that I will be able to move ahead. And so that's why I'm bleaching.
Do you think it's because, this is not me, just thinking, do you think it's because it was at one time a part of the European,
Yes.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
because of slavery, really.
Yeah,
And,
I was just gonna say.
yeah.
Mental thing.
Yeah.
It's all in the mind. It's a mental thing where
I'm talking about the shades, though, because,
Yes.
in the Mediterranean, okay, you have Sicilians, who very much are darker than northern Italians, which are lighter, which are near Switzerland, let's put it that way. And here we're closer across Africa, okay?
Right, okay.
So, in other words, it's like almost like a caste system in a
Yes,
sense.
yes,
right?
yes.
Do you think it's carried over? You're talking about it, so I didn't think it was there. Maybe it's. Do you think it can be approached and discussed and need to be made aware of?
Yes, I really think so. I think that when you talk about the caste thing, the class structure actually sometimes it's made up that way. Based on the color and the shade, and sometimes people don't think that they can achieve because they're whatever shade they're at, so they put limits on themselves because of the shade. So this is something that in whatever culture,
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
whatever
Whatever
culture
culture.
that you're
You're battling with.
we battle all the time.
But I found anything, if you got to say it, and people get to discuss it.
Yes.
It gets to be open
Open.
about
Open
it.
about
okay?
it, and
it's
I
no
love
longer
that.
Education.
hush.
It's no
or
longer
no
hush.
sus-
Right.
Right,
okay,
we're going
so-
to talk about it because we're seeing too many of our young people, they're destroying themselves by trying to get so light and hurting themselves in the long run by this bleaching and trying to be white, really, because that is what in their minds, that is the standard. And
Do
that's
you, I just want to go to Aubrey a minute because he's a little bit, do you think it's because of the entertainers that have come from Barbados and really have made their fortunes here, in a sense, okay, not realizing that they're hurting people back home by not aligning where they really originally came from?
I don't know.
I mean, that's just an opinion.
Yeah, I
right?
don't know if there is so much of that because they're still working out their differences in terms of development. Rihanna is really the most powerful entertainer right now, and she has crossed over. A lot of people have claimed her success is based upon the fact that she's light-skinned and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I don't think that that's a major part right now. But I think it does have some qualitative nature to it in terms of what you guys were talking
Well,
about.
if they're talking about it and they're going to bring it to the forefront, okay, it's an issue that even those that are here, the Caribbean
Yes.
that are here, can enforce.
I think
Yes.
I think it's something that's important to really look at because not just in Barbadian artists, but recently some other hip hop artists were talking about bleaching their skin because they'll think they'll get more opportunity and stuff if they're more light skinned. Some people mentioned that Michael Jackson did that to himself because of that, which is not proven in any way, shape, or form as far as I know. But it does have some relevance now in terms of what you guys were talking about.
Isn't it a chemical?
Yeah, sometimes it's they there's a particular kind of a soap that they use. There are people who have gone as far as injecting themselves. And you know, you walk up and down the street and you could see people, you see the veins in their faces. They have to use an umbrella because of the sun. They can't be outside because they've taken so many layers off their skin. And it's just very dangerous. And I think that a lot of even our men or young men feeling that this is the way we, you know, to be able to move ahead, you need to be lighter. And I thought that we had left those things, you know,
Years ago.
Yeah.
but it's all,
it's
and
all
because,
in the mind.
you know, there are some entertainers who are doing these things. I won't call any names right now.
I know.
And so we see that those entertainers doing that, and we model. Because they're getting ahead, they're bleaching and they're getting their
that's
success.
the way to go.
And
They
that's the
did
way to
that,
go.
so I did
Right. So
that.
what we want our films really, we want to be able to teach our young people proper principles, and we do it using entertainment. You know, they would come to the cinema, and they would laugh and they would joke around and they cry a bit, but we're sticking something in there so you to go home and think about, and wonder if those decisions are the right decisions, without screaming it at you.
Right.
You know, and that's just the model of our films.
So actually, your film isn't a piece of information.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a form of education.
Call it
okay?
edutainment.
It's
Edutainment.
really, yeah, also, I consider it self-esteem, okay?
Yes.
And you know, when children are abused, they think they're alone.
Yes.
That's a
so
very
true.
important point.
And what you're saying is, with your film, you are not alone.
Yes.
We're here.
Yes.
And if you want, I cannot help you, but I will talk to you. I will
Yes.
tell you where to go and how you go.
So this is Hush 3 is
Well, Hush 3, we were talking, the Hush 4 is dealing with the shades of color and the race and the bleaching. That's 4, that's coming. We've created 1, 2, and 3. 3 actually, 2 is the actual abuse. 3 is the effects of the abuse. So we see Makisha being angry, wanting to abuse her son. So we see this cycle of abuse. So she has her baby, but she's abusing the child because what she was abused, her mother was abused, and it was never dealt with. And here there's suicide. There's all those things. There's cutting. Yeah,
I was just thinking.
so many things that happen. So we're trying to show some of the fruit of this root in 3, and so we look at some of the how we can solve the whole issue, and so we look at the issues of forgiveness and how to move on from it, how to get up and go again, and so 3 brings a lot of healing and closure, and 4 we going into another thing totally. You know, with the color and the race and so on.
You want to tell people where they can get your film or how they can get in touch with you? At the end, I know we have your
Yes,
website up.
yes.
Would you tell people right now if they wanted to buy it? Is
Right.
it out in the market?
Yes, it's on eBay. If you go to eBay and just punch in Hush Movies or Hush Barbados, anything with Hush, you'll come up to that on eBay. You can purchase it from eBay. And our email is stepbystepfilms@gmail.com. That's stepbystepfilms@gmail.com.
Okay, great. I want to thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
Come
thank
anytime.
you.
Anytime you're in New York,
Yes.
give me a call.
Okay.
Yes.
Just don't bring him with you. Just do not bring him with you. And what about you? You want to say goodbye to the people?
Well, yeah, we want to let everybody know that Rihanna's actually going home. She's having a concert in
Yeah.
Barbados August the 5th. I think
Fifth.
it's sold out. 5th,
5th
right?
of August, yes.
5th of August. So that's it.
This is Grace Ferranti, caring about people. If you don't like what I got to say, shut me off. If you got something you want me to say, come here, because I'm going to say it anyway. This is Grace Ferranti, caring about people, thanking Kenny, Eileen, and Tony for helping me get this show through.